Hello everyone, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and I want you to gird your loins because today's video is sponsored by none other than Model Builder, but more on that later. Now, at one point in time, video game achievements seemed like they were going to be the next big thing since digitally sliced bread, and it seemed that developers all over the world went frothy at the mouth at the open-ended possibilities of what they could force players to go through in exchange for a sweet chime-like pop sound effect and an engraving made next to their profile. Yet some absolutely cheeky scamps decided that instead of a reward, that this new power would be used to punish players who didn't search every corner of their world map, or invest hundreds of hours, or just simply didn't have a high enough luck stat. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video game achievements you will never unlock. Number 8, Stampers Forever, Rare Replay. Oh Rare, how we miss you in this current age of gaming. For a while, this company produced so many instant classics that it was like the company was born with the bloody Midas touch. Yet once Microsoft actually showed them the power of bank balances, Rare faded into the rafters to be forgotten to time immemorial. However, younger gamers did get a chance to experience the dev team's quality, albeit years too late, in the form of a little ray of sunshine that was known as the Rare Replay Collection, a curated playlist of many of the team's best games, all up-resed and tweaked to perfection. However, while many praised this release for its commitment to reminding the world of Rare's achievements, it hid a rather nasty one of its own in the form of Stampers Forever. This achieve took the form of collecting every single stamp within the game, themselves being smaller meta-style trophies for each title within the collection, and as such, it meant that in order to net Stampers Forever, you'd have to 100% every game in this pack. Completing one of these titles fully was a hard enough challenge, but collecting 330 stamps across every title, that is a hard pass from me, my friend. No wonder only 0.1% of players who own this have this achievement unlocked. Number 7, Mr.'s Perfect, Double Dragon Neon. Whenever I look over at the Mr.'s Perfect achievement from Double Dragon Neon, I can't help but think of this as being nothing more than an extremely cruel practical joke placed in the title by the devs. For you see, if you, for some reason, want to add this achieve to your collection, you're going to need to beat the entire game without taking a single hit. And remember, this is a side-scrolling brawler, so taking hits is basically the entire experience. Except hold on, completing DDN this way will only net you the Mr. Perfect trophy, and we're looking for Mr.'s plural, so what gives? Well, hold on, my friend, because it's about to get much worse, as you now need to complete the entire title again without getting hit with a friend and also have friendly fire turned on. That's right, a single mistake made by you or your friend, and it is bye-bye to that perfect run. And did I mention that Double Dragon Neon is a flaming bag of dog feces? No? Well, consider this just another reason to never try unlocking this achievement. Number 6, The Final Chapter, Friday the 13th. Now, I could have just said this one here is going to be impossible to unlock because the online servers are gone. But you know what? Let's dive a little deeper. Because when it comes to asynchronous multiplayer games like Evolve, Dead by Daylight, and the Friday the 13th game, there's always a desperate scramble when it comes to who gets to play as the villain, because let's face it, it is by far the most fun you can have with these games, skewering, pinning, and destroying bumbling human survivors to the soundtrack of your own maniacal cackling. However, as you might expect, with just one villainous slot to fill, people often join and drop matches until they get that privileged position of pain administration, something which has become a bit of a stigma to these titles. Yet something even more excruciating is learning that there's an achievement tied to playing as the villainous Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th that will take you roughly 80 hours of playtime to pop. This is down to the fact that you need to play through 1,000 matches as Jason, and I'm not talking about just joining and dropping immediately. You need to see things through to the end, start to finish, 1,000 times. Now, as I said before, at least aiming for this trophy was somewhat enjoyable, but after slaughtering hundreds if not thousands of opponents, it definitely began to feel more like work than anything else. So before I begin with this searing slice of infotainment, I just want to say a lot of nice things about today's sponsor, Model Builder. Now, you might have seen last week Scott and Cleary gluing their proverbial fingers together on Moonlit SA's all-new crafting simulator, and I mean, what can I tell you about it that isn't immediately obvious from the unrestrained joy in their little faces? Plus, seriously, this is the most wholesome video we've ever made. Go check it out. In answer to my previous question, well, plenty actually, because you see, Model Builder is all about building and painting a huge array of models, from enormous Gundams to this frankly outrageous car, and even individual figures like this musical little elf whose cheekbone structure I'm definitely envious of. You can take on commissions, enter competitions, and all without ever tipping your paints all over your nice rug. I'm not saying that that's happened, but there is a lot of Nuln oil that I cannot get out. Now, you know me, I'm big into my building and painting of models. I mean, I've got a channel called Live and Let's Dice where I do Warhammer stuff as well. And you know what? I absolutely adore it. The fact that you can build things, put them into different poses, paint them in any color scheme you want, and then it is yours. You have created that. It's like Lego for adults, but better because some of the war games that I play you can shoot stuff with. Fantastic. And Model Builder is trying to make that same experience digital, and you know what? We've had an absolute blast giving it a go here. The game is now available on Steam, and there's even a little link in the description for you if you think you can do better than Scott's attempt over here. You know what? For a first attempt, he's done incredibly well, but if you think you've got more spice on your models, then let us know. In the meantime though, back to the video. Number 5. Work Complete, NBA 2K18. Now, work is a very apt title indeed for this NBA 2K18 trophy, as it was both something that you had to put in beyond all reasonable levels, and also probably something you'd have to quit in order to make time for all of the grinding you're about to do. For you see, in order to unlock Work Complete, you'll need to complete every single checklist goal in the My Team section, which, let me tell you, in no uncertain hyperbole, will take you an insane amount of time because there are literally hundreds of the bastards to tick off. In fact, at a rough estimate, this will take you nearly 300 hours to do so, in part thanks to all of the insane match challenges you need to complete, such as getting all stars in domination and beating every opposing team's schedule. However, making this infinitely more frustrating is when you realise that you can actually lock yourself out of this trophy by accident. Thanks to certain challenge tokens being tied to weekly challenges in the game, if you don't hit your targets, you're going to be left in a fit of rage come the close of the game when the trophy doesn't pop. And of course, there are no quick resets. It's a full restart from day one if you balls this up. Number 4. Seriously 3.0. Gears of War 3. The Seriously line of video game achievements has become something of a running joke within the Gears of War community, as not only are they some of the hardest, most time-consuming chieves to unlock, but almost nobody outside of the handful of other masochists that have already gone through the rigors of unlocking them will actually care that you've invested literally hundreds of hours into one game. It's a very weird scenario where besting the game in nearly every way possible, and in the case of Seriously 3.0 pushing every medal up to Onyx level, isn't greeted with the sound of rapturous applause from the rest of the player base, but instead a rather collective sigh and an eye roll so dry that it sounds like sandpaper being rubbed into your ears. For that very reason, a ton of players simply bypass trying to net Seriously 3.0, and for those that remained, the literal hundreds of hours investment into the multiplayer and a decision to forego playing any other game for months was a true mast shortener. Number 3. Nice Shooting Tex. Ghostbusters, the video game. Now, at first, the nice shooting Tex achievement might stick out like a bit of a sore thumb in this list of stone-cold killers of your confidence and social life, but while you theoretically can knock this out in a few hours, doing so is going to require an intense amount of luck, skill, and strangely, restraint. You see, this trophy goes against everything that has been hard-coded into players by the Ghostbusters franchise itself, namely that instead of being able to tear through levels with the proton pack, smashing ghosts through walls and covering the area in a thick coating of ectoplasm, here you're tasked with completing the entire game while causing less than $100,000 worth of damage to the environment. Okay, you might think to yourself, that's a fair amount of pocket change. So maybe I can be a bit reckless in my pursuit of poltergeists, right? Well, wrong, my friend, because when even scraping a car or a bus will set you back nearly $80,000, you have to basically have perfect aim consistently across the entire experience. And when you add in the fact that some enemies are frustrating damage sponges that just beg you to mash them into the floor over and over to shorten the fight, you're going to have to be a Zen master in order to calmly and accurately lay these spirits to rest. Number 2. Nothing Special. Left 4 Dead. While the title of this trophy might well imply that getting nothing special in the outstanding original Left 4 Dead will be a walk in the park, in reality it's anything but, as you'll need to be the bloody chosen one in order to come out of this campaign with this chieve under your belt. To better explain, it's worth remembering that Left 4 Dead is an experience that can be summed up as 90% team-based skill and 100% luck, and if those numbers don't add up to you, then trust me, you've not played enough of this game, as Left 4 Dead basically skews reality itself to fit its whim. In order to net nothing special, you need to make it through an entire campaign without being hit or tagged by any of the game's special infected, meaning that those team skills and luck stats that I just mentioned are now going to have to be on point. While you might immediately think that sticking together as a group and shouting out threats as soon as they arrive will make this trophy trivial, one has to remember about the all-important AI director, whose sole job it is to utterly and totally mess with you, meaning that even if you're running with a group of hardened mercs, a rogue hunter or slab of concrete thrown at you by entire tank can ruin your entire run. And let me just make this crystal clear. Stressful situations, RNG run ruining enemies, and having to work with others does not make for a fun experience when it's done over and over and over again. And number 1, the max level cape, RuneScape. Behold the max level cape, my friends, and weep, because not you, nor I, nor thousands upon thousands of RuneScape players that are still propping up the game to this day will ever see this gloriously low-res item ever grace our inventories. It is, without doubt, the ultimate sign of RuneScape masters, for it not only requires that the player hit the max level cap, but also master, which is reaching level 99, in each of the game's 23 different skills. Now, while that might not sound like much of a challenge, bear in mind that in order to master just one of these skills, it would take the average person about 40 to 50 hours to do so. In fact, some pretty clever party hat wearers decided to crunch how long it would take to complete this monstrous feat without any mistakes and complete every action perfectly, and they found out that it would take 89 days and 20 hours of solid playtime. That is a level beyond. It is at a point that my mind can't even comprehend playing one game for that long, just performing actions over and over again to pump up those skills. Yet a few have laid claim to this lofty title. However, chances are that you, yes, you listening to this video, are not going to be one of them. But don't feel bad though, as I'm in the same boat. So you know what? Let's just stick to what we're good at and go kill warped cockroaches together forever. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game achievements you will never unlock. I hope you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it would be great to see you over there. But before I go, I just want to say one thing, and it is about an achievement that I know that we can all unlock right here, right now, today, and that is just being kind to ourselves, taking a little break out of our day-to-day lives just to take a step back and mentally relax and unwind from the world around us. It is more than okay to take a break, my friend, and I actively encourage that you do so. Check in with yourself, make sure that you're speaking to people about your problems, and above all else, just remember this one thing: you're a massive ledge and you deserve all the best things in life. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome, never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.